Hi friends, so today we're going to continue to review our 1 and 2 step word problems today. So we're going to go ahead and do 7-5 and we're going to start with our solve and share like usual. So it says here you have 26 library books. You return some books, then you take out 15 more books, okay? Now you have 27 books. How many books did you return? Okay? So just by looking at this problem, I know that I have 26 library books, then I take out 15 more. So that more is a key word in this case. So I know that my first problem is going to be 26 plus 15 equals blank. Then I'm going to go ahead and solve it using one of my favorite strategies, which is breaking apart the add-in. So I'm going to work it out over here just so I have room. Okay, and the way to break it up is I'm going to break this number up into 10 because there's 1 10 and 5 1s, so just 5. Then I'm going to do 26 plus 10, which is 36. I'm going to bring down my 36. And since I already added the 10, I'm just going to add 5. So plus 5, I can easily count on 5 ones. So 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. So 41 is my answer to the first part. Now the second part, let's figure this out. I already know I'm going to bring this whole down and put it here. And so now you have 27 books. How many books did you return? So we're trying to figure out how many books I returned. So I know this is a whole and this is a part. And we know when we're missing a part, we are going to subtract. So you know what? Let me go ahead and write down this first unit bar for my first equation. So we know my first equation unit bar it's 2 parts, which is 26 plus 15, which got me 41. So we have a whole. Then I'm going to draw my second unit bar for the second equation, and we already have a whole, which is 41. So I'm going to write down the number 41. And the other number we did not use is 27. So 27 is my one part. And we're missing the other part. So when I'm missing a part, I know that it is a subtraction problem. So I'm going to do 41 minus 27. And to do this, I could also break apart the second number. I'm going to show my work up here. So 41 minus 27. I'm going to change my colors. I'm going to break this apart into 20 and 7 because I have 2 10s, which is the same as 20, and 7 1s is just 7 1s. So 41 minus 20 is 21. I'm going to bring down my 21. I barely have any room. You know, I'm going to do it over here. So 21 minus, we did 20, so we just need to do minus 7. And if I count backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it will get me the number 14. So now I can fill in my unit bar and my equation. So the question was, and if I had a solution sentence, which you would, how many books did you return? I returned 14 books. And that's it for today's solve and share. Now we're going to go ahead and do our visual learning for today. If it would work. There we go.
You can use bar diagrams to help you show the parts of a math problem. Mia sees 15 yellow birds and 16 red birds. Some birds fly away, and now Mia sees 14 birds. How many birds flew away? This is a two-step problem. Let's think about this two-step problem. What is the first step?
So just by looking at this, if I go back and look, I think I would need to figure out the whole first because we know how many birds she saw of each color, but we need to figure out how many they have all together first.
The first step is to find how many birds Mia saw in all. What is the second step?
Well, it tells us the second thing that happened that's important. Some birds flew away and now she sees 14 birds. So we don't know how many birds flew away, but we knew that at the end she only had 14. So I think to figure that out, we have to subtract 14 from the whole we get after we add 15 and 16.
Step. The second step is to find how many birds flew away. You need to solve the first step in order to solve the second step. How do you find the answer to the first step?
Select your answer.
Well, we already know how many red birds we had. We already know how many yellow birds we had. But I think we need to figure out the whole, which is how many birds in all. Oh,
Mia saw 15 yellow birds and 16 red birds. You add 15 plus 16. Use compensation by adding 5 to 15 and subtracting 5 from 16. 20 plus 11 equals 31. Mia saw 31 birds in all. How do you find the answer to the second step? How do you find how many birds flew away?
Select your answer.
Now we have the whole and we have a part. So when I have a part and a whole, I already know I'm going to subtract. So let's see if we're right.
You start with the answer to the first part, 31. You know that there are 14 birds left. Then you subtract 14 from 31. Break apart 14 into 10 and 4. 31 minus 10 equals 21. 21 minus 4 equals 17. The answer is 17. There are 14 birds left after 17 fly away. You used bar diagrams to help you solve the two-step problem.
Bar diagrams help you see the parts and the whole in each step of the problem.
Okay, so now that we saw our visual learning, let's go ahead and do a sample word problem. So today's sample word problem says, let me get my marker ready. Camila Rivera sees 22 blue flowers and 36 yellow flowers. Some flowers were picked and now she sees only 15 flowers. How many flowers were picked? Well, this is a two-step problem. So I'm going to go ahead and split my screen in half. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out the whole because we don't know how many flowers she had in all. So let's figure out our whole, and by figuring out our whole, it's going to be an addition problem. So let me go ahead and draw my unit bar. And we're solving for the whole because it's an addition problem. We have two parts, which is 22 and 36. So we need to figure out our whole. And our equation is 22 plus 36 equals blank. All right, there are different ways we can solve this. I personally love to do breaking apart the second addend. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the way I can break apart 36 is by 30 because we have 3 10s, which is the same as 30, and 6 1s. Then I'm going to do 22, bring down my 22, and we're going to add 30 to that. 22 plus 30 is 52. Then I'm going to bring my 52 down. 52 plus, we already added the 30, so I'm done with that. We're adding the 6 plus 6. And if I count on 6 to 52, I'll get the answer 58. Well, look at that. Now we figured out our first part. So we found out that in total she saw or picked, or sees and pick, or well, sees, 58 flowers. So I'm going to fill in my equation. I'm going to fill in my unit bar, 58. Now, the next part, I'm going to go ahead and draw my unit bar. We know that usually the second part always includes using the whole that we found out in the first part, right? So some flowers were picked and now she only sees 15. We're trying to figure out how many flowers she picked. So I'm going to go ahead and write my whole that we already got, 58, and my last remaining number that we haven't used yet, which is 15. And I'm going to fill it in. And when we're trying to solve for the missing part, we know it's going to be a subtraction problem. So I'm going to go ahead and change my colors real quick because I like blue. And my new equation is big number, whole, 58. 58 minus 15 equals blank. All right, and to do this, we can break apart the second number, which I love to do. So we have 110, which is the same as the number 10, and 5 ones. Now this is really easy because now I'm just going to do 58 minus 10, which is 48. And then, oh, that's an ugly 8. It's fine though. I already subtracted the 10. Then I'm going to bring down my number 48 and count backwards to subtract 5. 48 minus 5 is 43. So my answer is 43. So I can fill in my unit bar in my equation. So if I had my solution sentence, I'd write it down here and I'd say, Camilla picked 43 flowers. And that is it for today's lesson. Make sure you do your workbook work if you can't get online, Pearson, and hopefully if you can, do your quick check. And that's it for today. Make sure you send me a message if you have any questions whatsoever.